Hello everyone, my name is Brian the Pirate and I just want to get out a quick video for you all in the Path of Exile community regarding a post that GGG have just made about rolling back the ARCHNEMESIS system, which for many of you will probably involve a resounding applause and cheers right now. It is a point of controversy throughout the Path of Exile community. It has been a point of frustration for a lot of players during the Lake of Calandra League, including for myself. There have definitely been points where it has made me quite annoyed, but otherwise I didn't have too much beef with it. Some things definitely did my head in there, like Herald and Minions and the bugs associated with it. But I thought I would go through the post with you all and read it out to you. So, in our upcoming 3.20 expansion, ARCHNEMESIS will be replaced with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past. The issues that players often had with ARCHNEMESIS were the keyworded mod names were not fully descriptive of what they did. The mods often had multiple effects bundled with, which made them harder to understand. Due to how many effects were included in a single mod, it made too many encounters too complex. The way ARCHNEMESIS rewards were set up meant that many players felt that they couldn't just kill a monster, they had to consider if they wanted to bring a magic find character in to maximize rewards. For those who don't know, there was basically a meta where you would apply Culling Strike to one of your abilities and stack lots of magic find, and certain mods would guarantee you like loads of uniques, for example, so you would then use that build to kill, or skill, whatever, or weapon to kill the mob to maximize the rewards you got. The goals of the new system are: mods do one specific thing, mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name you must learn and remember. Encounters are simplified on an average while retaining interesting fights. Players are no longer required to do anything annoying actions to maximize rewards, such as applying Culling Strike, etc. Let's examine these goals individually. Mods do one specific thing. Here's an example. The Magma Barrier ARCHNEMESIS mod did a whole lot of stuff. It started by putting a Magma Barrier around the monster, but it didn't stop there. It converted some of the monster's physical damage to fire. It added some extra fire damage on top. It granted fire resistance to the monster, and it gave some physical damage reduction for good measure. It also spawned volatile flame bloods to follow you. The new equivalent modifier just puts a magma barrier around the monster and does nothing more. That is something I'm very pleased to see. You basically had to look up the wiki, which is obviously a very Path of Exile thing, but you essentially had to look up every one of these names, find out what they did, and then try and memorize them, which was, you know, it's very arduous, especially for the more casual players who aren't playing and know life in the game. Mods say what they do rather than having a thematic name you must learn and remember. For example, rather than Incendiary, which broke down into 6 properties, you'd now see monsters with either Ignites or Fire and Ignite resistant. Instead of Deadeye, which did 5 separate things, you now see Applies Random Mark, Extra Crits, or Accurate as separate unrelated mods. Encounters are simplified on average while retaining interesting fights. The pool of mods that involve complex interaction, like spawning volatiles or ground effects on death, have been heavily diluted by the presence of the simpler mods. This means that you encounter more complex fights less frequently, but interesting and challenging emergent behavior from overlapping mods can still happen, just less often. Players are no longer required to do annoying actions to maximize rewards. In ARCHNEMESIS, rewards were associated with individual mods. This meant that you could tell what kind of rewards you would get in advance. In some cases, you were then effectively required to fetch a magic find culling character to make sure that you maximize the value of the monster mod that you had found. In other cases, you would ignore a monster completely if you knew that it would only drop rewards that were of no value to you. Like the weapon quality thing, blacksmithing stones, I've forgotten the name there. In the new system, we have added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod. So you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward mods. The new reward system smooths out the spikiness that the ARCHNEMESIS reward system had. I understand where they're going with that. Obviously, Chris Wilson in particular is very favorable when it comes to randomization. He wants everything essentially to be random. Obviously, that's slight hyperbole, but he's obviously very much in favor of the randomness of Path of Exile. So it makes sense that they've gone with that decision. Conclusion. The original motivation for developing ARCHNEMESIS was that the previous monster mod system was very out of date. Many of the mods didn't have any appreciable effect under modern balance, and there wasn't a lot of interesting gameplay possible. In our opinion, ARCHNEMESIS did succeed at adding a lot of interesting new mechanics to rares, but introduced the problems described above. While creating the new monster mods described in this article, we were careful to retain most of the interesting mechanics that ARCHNEMESIS introduced, in a way that doesn't include a grab bag of other effects and is diluted by many other simpler mods. The result is a system that is very similar to what monster mods used to be like, but with much more up-to-date content and balance. Mods are simpler and say exactly what they do, while you can certainly still rarely encounter scary combinations of mods that really wake you up. It's a lot rarer than it was under the ARCHNEMESIS system. We feel that the new system is more modern and interesting than the older system, or the monster mod Nemesis system, and is clearer and easier to understand in the heat of combat than the ARCHNEMESIS was. So personally, I think this is fantastic news. I could understand what they were trying to do with the ARCHNEMESIS system, and over time I think they could have probably tweaked it, but over that same amount of time they probably would have lost a lot of members of the community. So I think it's a good idea that they have rolled it back, revisited it, looked at it under a different light, taken on board the feedback from the community, and have made a change. So I look forward to seeing what 3.20 will bring to us, or 3.2 technically. And so hopefully it's a fantastic league. Thank you for watching. Hope this has been helpful to you, and I'll see you in another Path of Exile video sometime. Bye bye.